Good morning, everybody. Let me clear my throat. How's it going? Happy Tuesday. I was thinking about making a video tomorrow. I said, you know, kind of running out of topics to talk about. To be quite honest, I said, it might be kind of be these morning chit chats. I might be turning into maybe weekly videos. I don't know. And if so, I said, might as well do that on Wednesday since I do my tarot card videos on the weekend. I said Wednesday is probably a good day. Like, I don't know y'all's schedule. I don't know. I'm not doing much. Okay. I don't really have much of a schedule. So if I knew information about, when people watched my videos, what would be the best timing for an upload, I would probably go with that. But seeing as I do not have that luxury, I said, maybe the middle of the week. I do a tarot card video on Sunday, so maybe like, I don't know, Wednesday, Thursday. But this week is Tuesday. I might make another video. I don't know. But this week is Tuesday because, I'm going to Kimi's house. So obviously people are going to feel a certain type of way about it. Obviously. Anyway, I want to show y'all the moon. It looks really cool. Maybe y'all can see it. There. It's right in my line of vision. If I go like this and I can see the moon. I think it's waning, right? When it's going towards the new moon. It's a waning moon. Or do I have that opposite? I don't know. All I know is the moon waxes and wanes, and I don't know which one is towards the full moon and which one's towards the new moon. Anyway, I'm gonna take a sip of coffee. 1 second. Okay. So yeah. Now feel free to let us know what waxing and waning moon is. Which one that happens to be. Going towards the new moon, the one we just saw. Anyway, so how's it going? Making a video today, one, because today's the day I go to Kimi's and I'm all ready. I got my book I'm gonna read. I have several books to read, but I'm gonna bring I read some and then I like go to another book and maybe I'll like read all that book. It depends. But I'm gonna bring I finished a lot of fiction books and I was like, maybe I should read a nonfiction book. But then I got to my really big book that I got for Christmas. Wasn't this was Christmas? December 2024 maybe? It's called The Seven Killings, and it's a fiction book about Bob Marley, and specifically around his death. Around that time, but there's a lot into it, and there's a lot involved. And as far as a fiction book goes, it's a really interesting fiction book. So I got that book packed to bring to Kimi's. I got some, I still haven't approached the Texas statutes. With the general funding of public schools in Texas. But I have that in my folder. And I also printed an indictment of the United States, I think the Southern District of New York Court versus Jeffrey Epstein. It's an indictment, and I think I got it from the DOJ website, if I remember correctly. And if you're wondering which one, it's like 19 Crime 490 or something like that. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff to print out. I think specifically what trailed me, what rabbit hole I went down on that one was there was a recent opinion from a judge, like a court opinion, a judge's court opinion, which is not really an opinion, but I think they just call it like that to make it seem, I don't know. Anyway, it's a very official judicial judge court opinion about Ghislaine Maxwell. I've been saying it wrong this whole time. Oh well. Don't follow me for it, okay? And something about unsealing. The judge, Paul A. Not Paula, Paul A. A is the middle name initial. Anyway, I might be mixing my information, but anyway, feel free to fact check. I'm not gonna stop you on that one. Anyway, I think recently there was a judge's opinion about the testimony, grand jury, something. I don't want to say testimony. Something is not going to be unsealed because it's of the redundancy, the lack of usefulness. I don't know, something like that. So I just started clicking links, how they, they just have to say, they talk about something, and then investigative journal. You got the link right there. The link, click, click, click. So it led me down to, I said, what, I'm just going to print the indictment, which is 14 pages. There's other stuff that I wanted to print. There was like other, if you go to the DOJ website, it's the indictment that was printed. I think either made available, happened. I can't remember. Was it July, August, or something? And then there was several stuff happened after that. But anyway, I printed out the original first one. I think there were some sort of amendments. Maybe it was the witness testimony or something else. I don't know. But I got 14 pages, so I'm gonna read about that. I have it all in my folder, all packed and ready to go. So when I go to Kimi's, it's 7:55 a.m. When I go to I have to wait till 9:30. She has to be at work at 9. She's a 9 to 5er, which means I could literally be at her house at 9, but I can't because I have to take Chase to Michael's. And she's doing me a favor because she actually works at 11. So I'm going to take her to like Target or something. She likes to go shopping and all that. Yesterday, she said, hey, the Spirit Halloween store is open. Oh, wait, let me just finish this Epstein real quick. So I printed the indictment from, I think, 2018. It might have been 2019. I don't know why I have 19 from 490. It might be 2019 now that I think about it. But anyway, so I printed that, and it said there's they wanted to focus on 2 primary locations, because I didn't pay much attention to it at the time when it was happening. The only thing that I really heard about was about the suicide in 2020 in prison, when he was in prison. So I haven't really kept up with it at all. So that's my goal, is to kind of like be like, well, what's going on there? If something is redundant, there's no need to unseal stuff, even though the court of public opinion, not the court's opinion, judge court, the court of public opinion, which is just opinions, is wanting to know more about it. Let's get this show on the road. What else we gotta do? So I printed those out, and coincidence, the locations, the 2 primary locations in the indictment is Florida and New York. So what do y'all think about that? So that's another reason why I'm like, ooh, I really want to pay attention and do my due diligence research into that. And then I'll do that, and then share with y'all what I find. In my opinion, which is not a judge's opinion. I know it can be confusing. I know. but I think the origins of those words assigned to what that is had better intentions, but it is a bit confusing. So anyway, excited to get that started. Yeah, very interesting. But anyway, so that's what I got planned today. I would already be like halfway out the door. But like I said, I have to wait. Tracy shouldn't work till 11. I said, I'm not, by the time you get dropped off, by the time I get there, I have to go pick you up, which means I have to leave the house 30 minutes earlier. I only get 2.5 hours. This is ridiculous. But man, am I paying for it. So I'm gonna get 2.5 hours, maybe 3.5 hours out this neighborhood, and I have already paid for it this morning. Not only I gotta stick to this, I need to walk Banjo before it gets daylight out. Today was one of the first days that it was just like, okay, I'm not a celebrity and public figure anymore. That's just what it is today. Yesterday, Tracy asked me, she said, you want to go to Spirit Halloween store? If you don't know, Spirit Halloween is a Halloween store that opens up seasonally. It's just a Halloween store. Not a Christmas or anything like that. Even though, if you want to be all like Nightmare Before Christmas, you gotta do your shopping early. Anyway, so you want to go to that Halloween store near Crossroads? You want to go to Target and Hobby Lobby because that's around there too. And I decided against it. And that was around the time Wednesday. She asked me about Wednesday because that's when she has off for this week. Not today, Tuesday, tomorrow. And I decided against it. I said, it's not even going to be worth it. It's probably going to be one of those things where, I just don't want to do that anymore. I don't really feel the need to do that. Why do I have to I don't want to do that. It makes me uncomfortable. It's not worth it. There are so many other places I could be reading, painting. I'd rather just be a homebody. Unfortunately, in 9107, I don't like it. I don't want to be here. But I'd rather be here than be like what I feel like is terrorized. Nobody knows who I am, but I'm in a public place, so they're gonna just be walking next to me. So, okay, you're not here because I'm here. Okay, good. I'm glad we cleared that up on this formerly known NIC school bus route. I'm glad that was cleared up. Just kidding, it never is. The only clearing up of that is I'm at fault for feeling a certain type of way about this social situation. That's the only clearing up I ever get. Okay? So anyways, I would be halfway out the door by now. I decided against it, and that was around the time I said, what, just no, I'm not gonna go. I don't really feel like going out shopping and pretending I'm not a celebrity and public figure. I want to get a pedicure. I want to get my hair cut. I want to get my nails done. I want to get some nice clothes. Obviously, that's not an option I have. Obviously, I don't have any money. I have like $5. So, and then literally like 1 minute later, my mom texts me, oh, the exterminator's coming on Wednesday. We couldn't get him to come on Tuesday when you're out of the house, but we got him to come on Wednesday. So there's going to be a dude over here, the exterminator. So I'm sure that has nothing to do with Margie's. Right? There's an exterminator for this house, and I'm sure in the grand scheme of things, in the court of public opinion, that has nothing to do with the fact that maybe I'm getting punished because I lived in Margie's garage. But is what I'm getting at. I'm spending 2.5 hours out of the neighborhood, maybe 3.5 hours out of the neighborhood in a house where there's nobody there that can reinforce to me context clues, environmental cues to me that I'm not a celebrity and public figure. I'm just another average individual where nothing bad has happened, let alone any sexual violence. So, apparently the people in this neighborhood are very upset. My opinion, that I get 2.5, maybe 3.5 hours where I don't have to be soaked in that environment. So, but what else is new, right? What else is new? If people weren't like that, then obviously I wouldn't be here. Obviously. But anyway, what else is new? I have to do that because it's also, I feel like I have to do that and say that. One, because I know people like to keep up with what's going on with me. And two, I have to feel like I have to reject them. I feel this is a constant, this isn't just, oh, we have to share a space. This isn't that. So for some reason, you can call it PTSD. You can even call it schizophrenia, because technically I am diagnosed with that, thanks to my stay at the University Health Hospital in October of 2021, when there wasn't these fences. Okay, there might have been this though. This might have been here. Anyway, I just feel the need to say that so they can know I still reject you. Okay? In any type of relationship, friendship, romantic ship, I reject you. I just want to make sure you know that. Okay? Today is not the day where that is not a fact. Okay? So that's why I also feel the need to kind of say those things. In this unique situation I happen to find myself in, on this formerly known NISD school bus route. Speaking of which, the Colonies North, down the street, the elementary school me and my two sisters went to, it started work last summer. Apparently it was a voter approved bond to upgrade the school. It's like 2 stories now. It's still not done. They started last summer. They went through the middle of last summer. They went through construction, continued construction, middle of last summer to all the last school year, fall and spring, all this summer, and now it looks like they're still not even done with the construction. So those little kiddos over at Colonies North Elementary still gonna go to school with construction in process there. So for the San Antonio Zoo, it's August, almost mid-August. I think the Ralston, which is basically like a ballroom. If you want to, it's an event center, but they is what they call it. But when they advertise it, it looks like a ballroom. So I think that's supposed to open on in September. So about another half month, maybe month. Which y'all already know my opinions on that. So you can't make the little reptile houses. They got these little tanks. You can't make them bigger. You're gonna have the ballroom, and then you're gonna make the reptile little tanks bigger. I see them snakes in there, so they can have a little bit more of a habitat, a little bit bigger. No, ballroom first, and then maybe snakes. So anyway, yeah, yesterday I guess DC crime in DC, Washington DC, the capital. So I saw there was a Fox News segment that said that, of course, people are against it. People say there shouldn't be a federal control of, which I'm wondering how different that is, right? It's the District of Columbia, Washington, D.C. I'm just wondering as far as like the law goes. Is it more closely to an unincorporated area of land, or is it more closely with federal laws? Um, but I think this takeover of law enforcement, I think it's I'm not sure about the finances of it, but I think it's mainly just like interagency communication, teamwork, and stuff like that. And of course, some people, had a problem with it. There was a weird press conference yesterday, I thought. So there was little Caroline. There's apparently it was the most packed the press room has been. 47 went up and talked, and other people did too, about the crime in DC, and I wasn't really aware of that. So, ooh, that sounds bad. I think the one statistic was the homicide rate, which is higher than some populated cities in Latin America, Central and Latin America, and there was little Caroline Levitt there. This is ridiculous. The most packed, all these questions, 47 leaves. I think he talked for like an hour, maybe less. And then she just leaves with him. So so you're not going to stand there and answer these questions in the most packed you've ever seen in the press room? Press secretary? No. Anyway, I'm just constantly finding faults with her. This is ridiculous. But anyway, that's just my opinion. I said, I think if Jim Pisecki was there, she would have the president would have left. She probably would have stayed there and addressed the questions instead of this. I don't have an answer for you. She just walks out. She says we should have a ballroom, and then she just leaves all those packed house reporters in the press room. Don't go above and beyond, Caroline Levitt. Don't do that. Don't even think about it. That's fine. Okay, you got your job. That's fine. No need to go above and beyond. But anyway, I didn't know about the crime rate, the homicide rate. I'm wondering. They said statistics for the crime was the one statistic I saw was the homicide rate, which was 10-20 percentage points more than, I think, was it Mexico City and Bogota, Colombia? They listed other cities, but I think those were the next two highest ones. I think in DC was 27%, and then the other two was 16%, and then one was less. So the busiest cul-de-sac in the neighborhood. It's a joke I like to make. So anyway, yeah, I don't have a problem with that. Of course, people had a problem with that. I saw this Fox News segment online, and this, 47 Trump says something, somebody's going to say how it's wrong, right? How it's incorrect. And there wasn't a lot of statistics going on. So what I'm trying to say is I thought that was interesting. I think it's interesting how they're calling it graffiti. I think there could be another word for it, right? Like when you tear down the statue, maybe they say graffiti because it's not tearing down a statue or something like that. I don't know. Does it really damage the property? I don't know. But in case you're wondering, I like graffiti because here in San Antonio, it's used a lot as art. You can say graffiti, or you can say this wall mural, which anyway. So what I'm getting at, I can't remember the website specifically. If I find it, I'll put it in the info box on this video. But there's a database, I think it was Texas, but maybe it's federal. I don't know. Like I said, if I still have it on my internet tabs, I'm gonna post it. Maybe I can see it on my history if I look into it. I have the time. It's 8:13, which has all the statistics about crime and in a certain area and for the year and stuff like that, which I think is very interesting. It statistics, again, I'll try to post it. I'm gonna really try and find the link and post it. But it's a very valuable, I think, very informative database, and I think it's a government database about the crime statistics and who's involved and stuff like that, and what type of crime and how. You say homicide. Well, how homicide? None of those statistics were given. And so that was really the only statistic I heard, the homicide rate. I heard a rebuttal that says that's a waste. The crime should be the billions of dollars and the lack of funding, which is not defund the police. I don't know. It was some weird argument basically about there should be more funding in the tunes of billions of dollars. And not one statistic. I think when you're talking about crime and stuff like that, you should have at least one statistic. But anyway, yeah, I guess that's that. That's what I gotta say this morning. Nothing new here. Same old, same old. I really don't want to, and I haven't been running. I'm back to my situation again. I haven't been running because I don't like, I feel like I'm being terrorized or stalked, and I don't like it. It's not worth it. So I'm just going to do yoga in my room. This is ridiculous. And I think it's having an effect. There's this kind of like threshold, kind of like, from my opinion, from my perspective, from my view. I can't Google myself, right? So I think it's spilling over in some places where I'm just like, I don't want to put myself in that position where I'm just regular folk, nothing to see here. No sexual violence ever happened to me. I've never been filmed and not paid for it. That's never happened. I'm just trying my best to avoid that. That's why I look forward to going to Kimi's. I'm looking forward to my 2.5, maybe 3.5 hours over there. Until then, I'm stuck here. My mom and JC don't know I'm a celebrity and public figure. Go figure, right? It's because Nikki Haley didn't know. Mandy didn't know. In 2021, they didn't know I was a celebrity and public figure and never got paid for it. So now I have to live here, where my mom and JC don't know I'm a celebrity and public figure. I gotta take her to Michael's. That's her job. Of which is a situation I should not reject somebody on a friendship, let alone romantic level. You tell me. But anyway, I'm gonna try to find that website. It's really interesting. I think science is really interesting, and I think crime. Those are the two fields that I really like, and obviously that brings in a lot of other. That was a Tesla. It was a white Tesla. So obviously it brings into account a lot of other fields like the law and stuff like that. So anyway, that's my video for today. I'm gonna go in. It's a little sweaty, a little hot out here. So wish me luck this week. The same old, same old. Well, I hope I don't have to be here for long, right? I know I'm gonna be here at least till Friday, and then probably the weekend, right? But yeah, I'm just trying to be in good spirits about it. I hate the situation, but and I hope to not be in it for very much longer. There's a spike in crime. We should get this taken care of, so I can go there. Anyway, yeah, I guess that's my video. I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all have a good one. Happy Tuesday.